And now we'll take a look at this week's Fan Sharp 3 Ball. Christian has 3 picks lined up for us across college and pro football. Christian, what do you got this week?
Let's go to Texas, and let's go to a program that there's been a lot of controversy around surrounding the coronavirus and COVID and how they are handling it and all that type of thing. Let's go to Baylor versus Texas. Now, this is probably the opposite of what you would call a look-ahead game for the Texas Longhorns. But after, in the beginning of the year, their schedule kind of lined up to where you could see that kind of what was going to happen with them, necessarily. Obviously, they've had the, postponements and everything that's come along with that. But after you talk about a team that has really just got their kind of heart ripped out in multiple overtimes against Oklahoma like that, coming off another loss from TCU the week prior that people kind of largely writ off due to the Oklahoma game upcoming again. Compound that with a team in Baylor who I know that I absolutely love everything they do with Charlie Brewer at quarterback. As long as they can keep him healthy in the game, this Baylor offense is going to give Texas a little bit, I want to say a better taste, but more of a taste of what Oklahoma did to them as well. Texas, the whole is Texas back. Their season largely probably coming to an end very early at the 2-2 record, off that Oklahoma loss, which was their season, coming back like that off I don't want to say well-rested given the COVID situation of Baylor, but that kind of is what it is here in a high-scoring offense with the Baylor Bears and a quarterback who's been absolutely outstanding all year in Charlie Brewer. Let's go Baylor plus the 10. A big number, I think, much too big against the Texas Longhorns.
Okay. And we have Big Ten opening up this weekend. Some good matchups there. I know there's one total that you like in the Big Ten.
Yeah, we are going to go Indiana and Penn State over the 61, that line as well. Penn State laying the 6 on the road. And, you look at this and you could always say that defense is ahead of offenses or that type of situation, which lends itself to unders. That's why you see, in the National Football League Hall of Fame game totals notoriously low preseason. And as the season kind of builds, you see those numbers increase. It's because traditionally defense is ahead of offense. So you look at Penn State and you think, could they be, why go over, traditionally a big number? You look at the previous matchup last year, 34-27. I think this is opposite. You look at 2 experienced offenses with a bunch of programs that lost a ton on the defensive side of the ball. I think this is a rare instance where you're going to see kind of a little bit of schoolyard football that you don't necessarily see from the Big Ten, chucking the ball around, keeping things simple, not, outstanding kind of schematically type of situations, throwing the ball deep a lot, looking to kind of get into rhythms. And I just don't think, both these defenses near the bottom of the country, inexperienced and returning starters. Penn State looking to make a statement on offense early and often as they are behind, much like an Ohio State team. So we're going to go over the 61.
Okay, and we'll close out on Sunday. We'll go to, sorry to use this phrase, NFC least. Probably getting trending now. 2 teams underperforming, but somebody's got to win this Dallas-Washington game. Christian, who do you like there?
Well, you're talking about a first-place Dallas Cowboys team, which sounds crazy to say on paper given the public narrative of what we just saw in primetime. But let's think about that. That's one of the best things to do in the sports betting arena is kind of fade that public narrative. Has the stock ever been lower on the Dallas Cowboys to where this line coming at a pick to me is absolutely crazy? Now let's look at everything that went wrong. Ezekiel Elliott fumbling the ball twice, kind of in a situation where he was supposed to handle the workload. Do you really think a situation like that could happen again, given, the comments he said and knowing that that's, can't happen if they're going to have any success? On paper, there's not a situation where the Washington football team at home is an equal matchup, which is what this line says, given the talent disparity. Now, look, I know Dallas has had injuries that are, I've never seen a team depleted by injuries this badly. I understand that. But the backups of the Dallas Cowboys are front to back much better than the starters of the Washington football team. I'm just going to say that. I would take, Andy Dalton over Kyle Allen, Dwayne Haskins, Alex Smith pre-injury, probably not. But I think that Dalton is a guy people forget was such a darling of kind of the fantasy community and what he could do. I think they maybe got a little bit away from what they want. What I think that I don't think they trust Dalton maybe as much as they should have. And I know the plan was to run Ezekiel Elliott, but I think Andy Dalton, and again, given the complement of wide receivers around him, who on this Washington, back end defensive stuff could stop, the CeeDee Lambs of the world and everyone around them. This to me is a really bad mismatch. Now, if Dallas had come out and looked great on, in that primetime spot, you're at least looking, 3-0 hooks, 3.5. I would argue I would have put this game in the dead zone, maybe 5.5, potentially even a 6. Had Andy Dalton come out, on fire, Ezekiel Elliott done his thing. That's a pretty big move. And again, you're talking about a look ahead line and you can kind of get into, what is Dak worth against the spread versus Dalton. I fully understand that offensive line, all those things. But to put this back down to a pick-em game in a situation where this should probably be 4 or 5 is just too much value, too much kind of stock low. I have to be a buyer of the Dallas Cowboys. Close your eyes, hold your nose, go to the window with a Dallas Cowboys pick-em ticket.
And there it is. I'll follow your lead. There you have it for this week's Fan Shark 3 ball. We got the Baylor Bears getting double-digit points against Texas. Total in the Big Ten, Penn State and Indiana to go over the 61. And Dallas in a pick over Washington on Sunday. Christian Pina from Las Vegas, thank you so much. Good luck at the windows to you and to everyone out there this week. Remember, go to fansharp.com and you can get some terrific deposit bonus offers at our legal sportsbook partners. Right now, PointsBet has a terrific deposit match. You'll want to check that out. You can actually use that deposit and play these games basically at no risk. Enjoy the games, everyone. We'll see you next week on Fan Sharp.